best defense attorney anywhere in the world, and just the most loyal, beautiful guy, and an Army guy. You know, in fact, Joseph, I got a text, I don't know, about 15 minutes ago from our friend, our mutual friend, Mr. Peerless Boilers, the great Pete Morgan, another great American. And he said, Sid, make sure you ask Joseph about this amazing Army charity that he's involved with. I said, Pete, don't worry. Joe and I have had that conversation. I'm going to actually donate today. But while Pete brought it up and I brought it up, let's get right to it. Extortion 17. What an amazing job with this. Amazing. Did I say that correctly?
Yeah, you said perfectly. I mean, Extortion 17 is the call sign of a Chinook helicopter, Army helicopter that was unfortunately tragically shot down by Taliban fighters in Afghanistan in 2011. And you know what I'm doing here, Sid, it's this event, a fundraiser and a ruck march that isn't about reliving this tragedy. It's about remembering the extraordinary Americans whose names deserve to be spoken 15 years later. So basically on the night of August 6, 2011, a Chinook helicopter, which is the Army's biggest, most, transporting helicopter, with the call sign Extortion 17, lifted off to reinforce Rangers, Army Rangers, where I hail, and engaged with the enemy in Afghanistan. Minutes later, it was struck by a Taliban RPG, killing all 38 people on board, including a dog, and 30 Americans, 8, Afghan fighters who were partnering with us. And today, Sid, to this day, remains the single deadliest loss of American lives in one instant during the Afghan war. So, to me, why should we care 15 years later? Because I've been saying this, and when I heard about this charity, I was in Wiesbaden, Germany, and with our Army base there, our headquarters, and I just, freedom has a price, and these men paid for that price in full. And they were sons, fathers, husbands, teammates, friends. They volunteered to run towards danger so others could come home. These guys, and when I look at people that have anything negative to say about members of our military, it makes me sick, because they literally put their lives on the line so we could sleep well at night and enjoy the freedoms that we enjoy in this country, and say what we want to be able to say and do what we want to be able to do. And it's just daunting to me that level of sacrifice exists. So, as a former Ranger, I know what it means to carry a weight. So what I have to do for this thing is carry a ruck, a 30-pound ruck for 31 miles honoring the soldiers that were killed, American soldiers that were killed in this tragedy. And the ruck is basically, in the 31 miles, is obviously indicating the number of people lost, and of course Bart the dog, the military dog. So it's
right.
It's really it's something I'm so proud to be doing, Sid. It's this fundraising effort that is, so along with the ruck that I have to do, there's a fundraising component to it, and it's just it's for the families of these fallen soldiers. And every dollar raised tells these Gold Star families that America still remembers their loved ones, and that's really what matters to me.
And where can 31 miles is longer than a marathon. That's not an easy job. Danielle's training for the New York Marathon. Again, it'll be her 6th or 41st marathon overall. This is 5 miles longer than a marathon, and you're carrying a 30-pound weight. But I did see you on Tuesday night. You and I had dinner together, and it looks like it's not going to be a problem for you. You're like a walking piece of muscle. But how can people help who want to help donate today?
There's, look, I sent you a link. That's basically a link to this charity. And basically, it's there's something called runsignup.com. So it's the Extortion 17 Memorial Run Ruck. So you could either run or you could ruck with weight. So it's just basically, if you go to runsignup.com, there's many, obviously, charities on there, but the Extortion 17 Memorial Run, which goes from August 6th to August 31st, by the way, let me be very clear, I'm not doing 31 miles with a 30-pound rucksack in one day. I would die. I mean, even Rangers, when I was a Ranger,
okay,
we did 20-mile rucks.
Gotcha.
It's over a period of 10 days, so it's going to be, you can do it all in one day if you want to die, or you can do 3.1 miles a day for 10 days. That's the route I'm taking, my brother.
That's good. That's good enough.
But it's an amazing charity. I don't often get involved in this stuff because I don't know what's real. But this is the Travis Manion Foundation, and Travis Manion Foundation is really one of the most important fundraising organizations, especially for the special warfare community. So it helps empower these veterans and these families and families that have fallen, to develop character in future generations.
Yeah.
So it's so important to me, Sid. I've said this with donation, because I don't care if anyone donates $1, or I've had some Pete Morgan made a pretty big donation. So, I don't care what the amount is. It's just a principle for me. And, so far we're the top fundraisers. So it's really important to me.
Well, now you're going to be the top fundraiser. I got 1 million people listening right here, Joseph.
I don't even know if when they sign up, they probably won't even connect with me from the foundation point of view. I don't care.
Okay.
I just don't care.
Gotcha.
This is something that's so important to me. I wore that Ranger scroll decades and decades ago, but once you're part of that brotherhood, you never stop being connected to those who serve.
Yeah, sure.
And I didn't know anyone on board of Extortion 17, but I know the kind of men they were, and that's why this matters. It's about honoring warriors who answered the call, supporting their families they left behind, and making sure America never forgets their sacrifice.
Love it.
Because these men gave their tomorrows so the rest of us could have ours, Sid, and that's the least we could do to remember them.
Can't argue. Do you do any of the runs or walks every year for Tunnel to Towers?
I don't. I haven't. I would love to.
I got to set that up. I got to set you up with Frank Stiller. I got to set you up with Frank Stiller. Okay. You're perfect for that. I'm serious. Be great.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'll do whatever I can do. That to me is honor and duty. It's not even pleasure. It's not like, that's cool.
How you going to feel? How you going to feel on that day when we commemorate 25 years this September 11th when you see Mamdani sitting next to Rudy Giuliani?
Oh, it's really, really tough. It's really tough. I mean, knowing what he has said in the past, knowing what his supporters have said about 9/11 and the American people, knowing what his wife has posted, and then having to sit there with that stupid smile, that smug smile, understanding. In my heart of hearts, this is my opinion, Sid, and I know you, John, make sure you always play that disclaimer before I come on the air. The views and opinions of our guests don't reflect it. I know that's only for me. I'm about to say it. My opinion is that he could care less about America and the commemorative events of 9/11. That he is, honestly, I call him a jihadist. And based on his past statements and his associations, he is. So I don't think it's going to make me sad, because I lost family members in 9/11. We both lost great friends, you and I, and we know who they are. And I've lost family members, and I went to more damn funerals, and I saw that second plane hit the towers. And I was on the West Side Highway, heading to court in Brooklyn, federal court in Brooklyn, and I saw the smoke from the first tower, and then I saw the second plane go in. As I didn't know what it was. At first, I thought it was like a movie set. And then I'm thinking, oh my God, maybe it was a pilot who couldn't see the towers because of the smoke. And then when I realized what had happened, it's just like, it's a day. Obviously, this is going to be a shocker. It's a day I can never ever forget.
No.
I can never forget. And it's a significant day coming up. And again, I know a lot of special forces guys and the military guys will make this day is they're looking forward to this for many years.
Yeah, me too.
It's really commemorative. It's so important.
It's not just one day. By the way, people are still dying 25 years later. But we'll get to that 9/11 conversation later, because we got so much more to get to. I know your buddy. All my attorney friends are friends with this guy, Todd Blanche. Been going through the whole Senate confirmation this week. Trump loves him. He, he was supposed to be the interim for Pam Bondi, and you heard names like Lee Zeldin and even my friend Harmeet Dillon, Janine Pirro. But I knew once Todd took that interim position, he was never leaving, and I think he's the right guy for the job. And I know you love him. How do you think he did this week?
I thought he did great. I mean, look, those are far. We're in a different world now. Everything is so damn partisan and so nasty. Confirmation hearings used to have a little more civility to them. Now it's like it's about politics much more than it's about accomplishments. I'm not commenting on Todd Blanche from a distance. Todd's a close friend of mine. Okay, I spoke to him after that confirmation hearing. I served alongside of him as co-counsel representing President Trump. I watched him work firsthand under pressure, unlike anything most lawyers will ever experience. We've experienced, and I know his character, his judgment, his intellect, his integrity. That's an exceptionally qualified individual for Attorney General's office. And if you saw how he handled some pretty nasty questions yesterday, he didn't do a Pam Bondi. he didn't start saying, "Yeah, you're a pedophile. You're this," and like lose her cool and go back at them with snide remarks or refusing to answer questions, but attacking others. Todd just sit there, took it. You didn't see him raise his voice, lower his voice.
He never lost his cool. He never lost his cool.
Never lost his cool.
No.
And that's exactly the lawyer we.
He's either a really brilliant guy or he's a psycho. One of the two.
And sometimes that
both.
combination is what makes us great lawyers. I mean, I think you just defined me, and I'm not, but that's exactly the kind of lawyer we want leading the Justice Department.
100%.
He's highly accomplished as a lawyer. Yeah. He understands both sides of the system, and I love him. But again, we need his temperament right now. Right now, with all that's going on, you need it much more than legal brilliance to be Attorney General. It requires temperament. And Todd's calm, as you saw when others become emotional. He's deliberate when others become reactive. And he listens and he studies. And I have so much respect for the guy. And, it's a lot for me to say this. I don't have a great deal of respect for a lot of people in my industry, but he is certainly one of them. He's certainly one of them. And he should be. Hopefully this doesn't become political. Again, I just hope it doesn't become political, because if it doesn't become political, this should be a very easy confirmation.
He's getting it. He's getting it. He's getting it. It'll be no problem. But you're right. He did a tremendous job. Tuesday night we had our monthly men's dinner. Keith Kantrowitz and all the guys, Mark Oranger and Mike Kemper and Al Volpe and Elbstein. We love Andrew Elbstein and Big Chris and a whole bunch of really cool folks. And my dear friend Anthony Carone came by, and I have spoken to Anthony a bunch of times since he had the issue with his brother. I was in Israel. I actually started to cry. And I spoke to him as soon as I got home, and he was kind enough to call me right back. And we've spoken 2 or 3 times, actually, but had a chance to see Anthony Tuesday night, and I was so happy you were there, too. So you are familiar with the case against 2 dear friends. Now, look, I'm biased. I am biased because I love both guys. I'm not an attorney. That's why you're about to speak on it. But from what I know, this is not a very good case against my friends Frank and Anthony Carone. But again, you're the lawyer, Joseph. You tell me.
It is not a strong case at all. It's one of these cases that, was brought years after they started this investigation. It's a case that they bring to put pressure on one of them to flip on the other one. And I'm not talking about the 2 brothers. I'm talking about the other defendants as well. I know the evidence against the Carones. First of all, Frank has been a friend of mine since I was a prosecutor, 100 years ago. And Anthony, I've known of Anthony and spent some time with him Tuesday night with you. What a great guy. A very impressive individual. Right? Really. Yes. I mean, and I got to tell you, you don't see a lot of men like that anymore who stand up and are ready to fight. He walked into that restaurant, Sid, with a smile on his face.
Yeah.
I actually commented to him. I said, I got to be honest with you. I got to give you some credit because most people who are under indictment for, serious federal charges, facing serious time, are sort of change their demeanor. They cower. They become reclusive until this is all done.
And let me tell you something. That's him. He wasn't being phony. He did say to me, he said to me, because he's been smiling the whole time, he said, Sid, the worst part is over. He had a worry that every day someone would come knocking on his door. Now they knocked on his door. Okay, great. Now we'll fight you because the evidence will prove we were okay. He said, to be honest, I'm past the worst part. How about that?
Yeah. Look, that's right. The worst day is that day. And believe me, when they wake up at 5 a.m, and that was another thing, just comes to show you the nastiness, because Frank and Anthony Carone and their lawyers who I've spoken to and know have spoken with the decision to go charge them. Just let us know. We'll surrender. Right? But it's crazy that they had to go make a spectacle. 15 FBI agents at 5 a.m. to go take out Anthony Carone out of his. Are you kidding me? I mean, we didn't need that. And so I think they're going to have a real strong defense in this case. I know the defense. I know Anthony is definitely going to trial, and he wants to go to trial. And, they're going to argue, I'm sure, amongst other things, that prosecutors are drawing inference from circumstantial evidence. And literally the evidence against Anthony Carone was presented to them by his attorneys in what they call, either attorney proffers or these meetings to try and show innocence. And they took that somehow, turned it around. And honestly, it's shocking. If that's the evidence in this case, and you're going to have to explain to a jury why his lawyers presented that to you, to show you what was the truth. And then you turn that around to make that the only evidence in this case. And now I think they're going to try and remove, Anthony's lawyers as a conflict. It's crazy. It's crazy. But I feel so confident for these guys. I really do. For Frank and Anthony, I don't know the other guys. But Anthony Carone is an impressive man, and I got to give him a lot of credit.
Yeah, but the evidence against him is a joke, yeah. I think that some people think that Frank is it's a little more serious. I don't know. I have no idea because I love them both. But I think the conventional wisdom is that the evidence against Frank is a little more serious. But I still haven't heard from anybody exactly what that is either, because they are kind of two different cases.
I don't know, Sid. I don't think so. I mean, look,
Good.
Frank is the guy in the middle of it, right? He was Adams' guy. He was the right hand to Adams, who obviously there's a lot of corruption according to the federal prosecutors in that. Well, there was. I mean, we know that. Bo Deal will come on and just get him started, ask him a question about that, and he'll go off, right? But again, here would be their theory. Frank Carone set up this lucrative $6.8 million contract for some guy, and he got $120,000.
Come on,
for that. I mean, Frank Carone can make $120,000 in a month.
In his sleep.
I mean,
in his sleep.
And then, by the way, it was $10,000 a month. Like, that's what he got for setting up one of the most lucrative contracts in this, in this whole migrant hotel campaign. I mean,
ridiculous.
It's a silly argument. I don't believe for a second that's going to prove out in court, but we'll see. I mean, I think it's a very interesting case, and I'm confident that these guys are going to be okay, though.
I agree, and I'm sure they're glad to hear that coming from you, because you have won for just about everybody. Your record is comparable to Sandy Koufax in the major league. So if Joe Tacopina says you're okay, I think you're going to be okay. And you did look great on Tuesday night. You look like $1 million. So, and hopefully you'll start coming to this dinner every month.
That was fun. That was really fun. Some good guys there.
Yeah.
It was really an interesting crew. Al Volpe. I mean, he was a character, and a lot of these people. And you left actually to go somewhere else, and I spent some time.
I went home.
Guys, I was trying to leaving. Yeah, you went home, and I spent some time with these guys who were, who were leaving, and they, one-on-one, they grabbed me to talk about this or that or something
good.
we knew, and some great guys there.
How much longer did you stay after we left?
Yes, a little longer than I wanted to, because I had to drive up to Connecticut. So, but about a half hour more.
Oh wow, good. All right,
yeah.
All right. Al Volpe owned the China Club, Joseph. You love that place, no?
Yes, in the day.
In the day. We all had our day. Joe, you're amazing. You really are. One more time, go back to where we started this great conversation, Extortion 17. How can people help today?
Yeah, Extortion 17. They basically could go to a website. This is what I know anyway, how to do this. But they could go to something called. Hold on. So now I got to get it again. It's runsignup.com. Runsignup.com. Yep. Run the word run signup.com. That's one word. That's where my donations go. All my donors. But the Extortion 17 Memorial Ruck Run. And yeah, it's if they put my name in there, obviously they'll know it came from this endorsement. But I don't care about that. I don't care about getting the credit for it. I just want this organization and these families to know we've never forgotten them, that we will support them. This is something so near and dear to me. As my son gets ready to go into there, this is really, we have to just remember how important what these people do are. There's really no one like the military, United States military, and the sacrifices they make for all of us, that we take for granted, and we just do, because it's not bad that we take for it. It's just like, we live our normal lives every day. We go here, we go there. Oh, the World Cup final Sunday, great. We do that, and we have the ability to do that because of these great soldiers. Men, women, whatever, even Bart the dog sacrifice his life, right? Because they give theirs and to protect our freedom. And it's just something that, it's not cliche, it's real. And when you think about it like that, it's daunting to me. It really is daunting. It gets me a little emotional. So I would do anything to help these guys.
You're beautiful inside and out, Joseph Tacopina. Great job today, as always. It's an amazing segment every Friday. Thank you so much. I love you, pal.
Love you too, brother.
See ya. Joseph Tacopina right there. Great, the best defense attorney in the world, and we are lucky to have him every Friday on this radio show.
Thanks for listening to Sid and Friends in the Morning. You can hear Sid and Friends in the Morning weekday mornings at 6. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?